Everyone has a personality, a set of patterns for how you think, how you relate to people, how you handle stress. Most of the time, those patterns just make you, you. So here's the real question. At what point does a pattern stop being personality and start being something else? It's not about being difficult or unusual or even hard to get along with. Clinically, a personality disorder is defined by two things working together. The pattern has to be rigid, showing up the same way across almost every part of life. And it has to cause real distress or real dysfunction, either for the person experiencing it or for the people closest to them. That second part matters more than people think. This isn't primarily about how someone affects others. It's about a pattern that's often genuinely difficult to live inside of. Psychiatry groups 10 recognized personality disorders into 3 clusters. The first, cluster A, involves patterns that tend to look odd or eccentric from the outside. Paranoid personality disorder involves a persistent, deep distrust of others, interpreting neutral situations as threatening, even without evidence. It's exhausting to carry, not just difficult to witness. Schizoid personality disorder involves a genuine lack of interest in close relationships, including with family, and a strong preference for solitude. This isn't shyness. It's a stable, long-term way of relating to the world. Schizotypal personality disorder involves unusual patterns of thinking, speaking, or dressing, often alongside discomfort in close relationships. People with this pattern are frequently misunderstood simply for being different, rather than distressing. Cluster B involves patterns that tend to look dramatic, emotional, or erratic. Antisocial personality disorder involves a persistent disregard for the rights of others, often alongside impulsivity and difficulty maintaining stable relationships or responsibilities. Borderline personality disorder involves unstable relationships and intense emotional responses. Internally, it's frequently experienced as a persistent fear of abandonment, paired with real difficulty regulating sudden, intense emotional shifts. It's also one of the most stigmatized diagnoses in popular culture and one of the most responsive to treatment, particularly a therapy called dialectical behavior therapy. Histrionic personality disorder involves a persistent need to be the center of attention, often through exaggerated emotional expression. Narcissistic personality disorder involves a persistent need for admiration alongside a lack of empathy for others. Underneath that, it's frequently linked to a deeply fragile sense of self-worth, not the confidence it can appear to be from the outside. Cluster C involves patterns rooted in anxiety and fear within relationships. Avoidant personality disorder involves deep feelings of inadequacy and hypersensitivity to criticism, leading to avoidance of social situations despite wanting connection. Dependent personality disorder involves an excessive need to be taken care of, often leading to submissive behavior and real difficulty making everyday decisions independently. Obsessive-compulsive personality disorder, distinct from OCD itself, involves a preoccupation with orderliness, control, and perfectionism, often at the expense of flexibility or efficiency. Here's something worth knowing that even psychiatry is honest about. This 3-cluster system is useful, but its own creators admit its clinical usefulness has never been firmly established. It's a map built for convenience, not a perfect description of any real person. Most people who meet criteria for one of these patterns show traits that spill across more than one cluster. Reality, as usual, is messier than the categories built to describe it. None of this is a diagnosis, and it was never meant to be one. A real diagnosis takes a licensed clinician, a real conversation, and a lot more time than 10 minutes. What this is a map. And maybe recognizing a pattern in yourself or in someone you care about isn't really about labeling them. It's about understanding that behind every one of these patterns is someone genuinely trying to feel safe in a world that doesn't always make that easy. Next time, we'll look at the patterns your mind uses to protect itself before a disorder ever enters the picture. Every defense mechanism explained.